So we had this F350 come in and said it wouldn't run. It does not run, just spins over. Let's see, we got injector high side, short to ground, or voltage battery bank 1, and then we also have bank 2, P1291 and P1292. So when we come to our wiring diagram here, we can see that our injectors have a pretty simple circuit. We have no inline connectors, and we are controlling it straight out of our powertrain control module here. So basically what we need to do in this case with this truck, being that we're not running, we need to check and see if any of our injectors or if possibly our harness has a short to ground. Well, how do we do that? Come over here to our PCM connector for our engine. We'll unplug this thing, and I'll show you something cool about Fords if you didn't know this. See this bottom row? See how these pins are bigger than these rows, right? If you counted these pins, what you would come up with is 16 different pins. That is because we have 8 injectors, and each injector needs a power to it and a return from it. So that is why we have 16, 2 for each injector. We're gonna get this multimeter set up here to read ohms, because what we're looking for on this injector is the resistance. We're gonna check these injectors and see if they're shorted. We are having a short to ground. We ran a bolt through the wire harness, or the injector has shorted itself straight to the engine, right? It's shorted to ground. We're gonna hook one lead over here to the ground cable on the battery. We're just gonna come down this row here, and we're gonna check and see as we enter these pins is if we have any kind of resistance to ground. So I'm checking here. We're going along. You see on our meter, we have open loop the entire time. And then all of a sudden, we come to a pin that does something a little funky. We got 3 ohms. 3 ohms, that's a damn good wire. That's a good resistance to ground. We unplugged this connector, right? So we just have 2 bare wires here that are both ends are plugged into the injector. So none of that should be contacting the ground or the power or anything. We just have an open circuit here is all we have. And we're testing on this wire, and what we're coming up with is a short to ground. So how do we separate the harness from the injector and decide which one is the actual issue? That's easy. We just unplug it. Look that wire up. That is for the number 8 injector. Right down here is where our injector is. All right, unplugging the connector now. Resistance is gone. That resistance is gone because this is not an issue within the wiring harness of this truck. This is an issue internal to that injector. Is internally shorted to ground. It's internally shorted to that mounting point for the engine. That is what is causing our PCM to spaz out here. After finding both of our shorted injectors, number 7 and number 8 here, we have both of those unplugged. We're gonna plug this PCM back up just to prove it to you. Let's see if this thing cranks.